I got a little bit more time on my hands than usual. Well, not really. I am raising my son full time, but I have been just dealing with some things that have been a transition for me. And what I was actually wanted to start off this conversation about today is this ICEMAN situation, this Drake album. I see that the internet is not feeling it, and I don't get it, man. It's like Drake is one of the greatest artists that we have of our generation. You know, we grew up listening to Drake, and then people are kind of just taking this album and just giving a lot of what happened in the past and expecting something, I guess, different than what he has delivered. But in my opinion, like I feel like he gave us exactly what is the era that he's in. Like he's in an era of some level of adversity that he's feeling, and I feel like this Iceman persona is, fitting of that adversity. Granted, it may not be the same adversity that people are actually facing in life. Yes, he's a multi-millionaire artist. He has a lot more of the pleasures of life that will make you feel like, oh, he's not going through anything. But me personally, like I said, I have more time on my hands. It's kind of similar. Like I heard a lyric of his in the album, and he said, "I'm a corporate America hit survivor." And on a way more minimal scale, that's kind of like the reason why I'm having a little bit more time on my hands. It's like it's the corporate Africa hit survivor. It's like, yeah, just to give you a little bit of insight. Since I've been here, I've been working in tech for some time, basically 3 years, and I was working as a UX designer for a company that provides software, basically. And yeah, I was very thankful for the job, and I was able to actually like transition from my hip hop background and use that same creative skill, but now in a way that was a little bit more adding value in the tech space. So it's still designed. It wasn't necessarily the software developing. It was more so designing applications and just giving the feel and the look of these applications. So boom, I'm in a job. I'm working corporate for the first time. Like I spent most of my time when I was in America, I was just doing hip hop. I was traveling, being able to perform, but things kind of slowed down with the pandemic. And then I had to transition into tech. And then, I got the skill and I was able to execute it here in South Africa. So I got a job and everything's going fine. And the way that I got the job is by, granted, when I was learning about the skill, you have to build a portfolio of your work and the work that you would, just show that you have the skill, and that's how they was able to discover me. You send in your CV, you send in your portfolio of the work that you was able to do in this field, and then they would be like, okay, you're good enough to get this job. So I'm on a job, I'm doing my thing, I'm in a new space because it's an office space. It's like the funny part is I didn't know that they had as much of a big Indian population in South Africa. I mean, it's maybe obvious to people that are here, because of the history. But coming from the outside, I didn't know. I thought it was going to be mostly black people and a few white people sprinkled in there. But they had this huge Indian population, and it's mainly in the tech space. So I'm going to the job. I'm expecting a little bit more of a diversity, but it's majority Indian people in the job, and I'm the only American person. And there's a few black people sprinkled in, so it's already like a isolation in a sense. And I'm just keeping to myself. Everybody has this predetermined thing about Americans as well, and I'm a black American, so it's like a whole different isolation. So I'm just doing my job, keeping to myself, and making my way through this corporate environment. And 2 to 3 years in, like because of my job is more of a design aspect, it's like I would design the applications, and then after that I would hand it over to basically the development team. And from that, it's like for a lot of the time I don't have as much work to do. So they try to fill you in different roles and try to make you do other jobs. And just knowing my value, this is kind of something that I'm just reflecting on. It's like I know my value. I didn't want to just be doing stuff that I wasn't trained for and not getting compensated for it, like without the upskilling, without all the stuff that's going on. And that is a level of, I don't know, it's a level of me, I guess, having an American type of non-appreciation for the job, because it is a lower, pay rate than I would be having if I was doing a job in America. But, I was able to, make a living with it, and I was able to live really above the regular means here, because it's actually a good job in this capacity. But yeah, long story short, and yeah, this is going to tie back to the Drake Iceman album, but it's talking about that adversity that a lot of people may not see as a real adversity. But it's like these corporations actually are just using you for that skill that you have for a meantime, and then once you are able to basically deliver that, after you don't have as much value to give, without them like knowing how to basically make it off of you, or you kind of got to find your own way to add value within that system. And what came to be is like I can see that they were starting to have a different arrangement for me, because they didn't have as much work to give me. So I'm just going to run with my job as normally. And the main thing that started to be on my mind was like, okay, since y'all do not have as much work for me, we can maybe do a remote situation, maybe like, just cut my hours or like do something like that. I was trying to arrange it to where I didn't have to constantly go in and out the office every day, because it was a taxi drive. I had to get on the taxi cabs because I didn't have a car out here. I spent the majority of my money on my housing because I was just trying to make my living situation not as drastically different than it was that I was having in America. And I spent majority of my spending on that versus having the transport. So I would take the taxi, I would walk, I would go pick up my son from nursery. It was a whole lifestyle that I had set up. And boom, it's like I'm in my 3rd year, and then I'm expecting my bonus to come in. And right before my bonus come in, I get I can't log into my basically my Microsoft account. It's just one day I come in the office, I can't log in, and like the manager role is like so docile. I don't know. It's like they can't be direct. I think it's I don't know what it is about just that corporate environment, but it wasn't very direct. It was more so like people hiding about behind each other. So they called me in the office later that evening, and they just basically like we are you getting suspended for basically stealing company work and putting it, advertising it as your own, and trying to sell our services as your own. I'm just thrown away by it. I'm thrown away back, and I'm just like, this is the angle that you're going to take because you know don't have any more work for me, instead of like just having a way to just, I guess, appropriately appreciate me for the time that I've been there. You want to try to diminish my basically ability to work forward in this industry by saying that I'm stealing from you guys. And what was happening was that 3 years, like I told you, how I got the job is by making a portfolio, and that portfolio just consists of the work that you do, and then that's how I got the job initially. So I'm just continuing in that fashion, and I did do one project for the company, and I put some of the designs on my website that I was promoting, but I wasn't promoting it as I was just continuing that way of building my portfolio. I wasn't selling it as selling their stuff as my own stuff. That they basically think I'm selling their stuff and trying to steal customers from them, but this is they're trying to present it basically. And that is the angle that they took to try to suspend me, and then it was supposed to be like a full termination from there. So yeah, I'm throwing it back by it. I have to go to my wife and tell her, just randomly. And this happened like late last year. So this year I've been just, transitioning and trying to adjust. But in that capacity, what I had to do was just figure out, okay, this is a, corporate Africa hit, you know what I'm saying? Like in the minimal sense, yes, I'm joking, but I feel I can kind of relate to what Drake is saying in terms of the adversity that you feel when you feel like you've been adding a lot of value to something, and then it's kind of just randomly things turn against you. So that's kind of like the frame that I'm viewing this album from, and it's giving me a little bit of understanding of how he feels and his fight back. And then I kind of feel the same way as him. Like he feels like he's still that dude, even though this is happening and there's a lot of things that's working against him. But he's still rapping as if he knows who he is in the capacity of this transition that he has to make. And it is taking on like a villainous type of way. Like you got to go to, like I had to defend myself basically in the corporate hearing, because they're trying to terminate me and just diminish my name. So I'm fessing up to the situation, and just they're not prepared at all. They just think I'm about to just be like, okay, I'm sorry guys, blah 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 blah. But I'm strapped up. I started reading my contract. I started to get. I'm just getting all the information. Like, I'm a studious person. Like I'm not. I was quiet in there, so they don't really know this how I go about things when I'm feeling attacked in a way. So I go there and I'm speaking the most I ever spoke in this meeting. I'm telling them, basically, why would I, like try to steal your stuff? I'm just telling them basically that my portfolio is how you guys found me, and I'm just continuing that. And granted, the work that I did on there was 3 years prior. Like I had that on my website the whole time I was working at the job, but they just found something that they wanted to use to, I guess, terminate me in the time that they didn't have any more work for me. So I'm just basically seeing through, because every answer that they're giving in reply is basically like they have to represent the bigger board, and they have to, like, the person in front of me, the CEO, is basically not even representing himself. Everything he's saying is based upon his shareholders, and he's just like an agent of, he's not even human in a sense. It's like he's just a lot of different things that's behind him, and he has to represent that, and that's his reasoning for everything that he's doing. He's like, um and yeah, I mean, I can't be mad at him, but I just understand now, just that how it's rolling. Then I was able to defend myself in the capacity of, we just did an inner contract versus them being able to tarnish my ability to work forward. So I'm just saying all that to say that I kind of relate to this corporate hit survivor aspect, and now I'm living in a little bit of situation to where I do have to adjust. But I'm coming here and I'm doing what I originally came here for. Yes, I was doing tech in terms of being able to provide for my son, and it did help a lot, the job that they was able to give me and the salary that I was making. But now I'm kind of just in my education bag, in my writer's bag, and kind of just delivering this information to you guys. So, yeah, I just, in that capacity, yes, the rest of the album may not be what you may be relating to, but I know a lot of people are going through adversity. It may not be corporate adversity. Maybe it is, because there's a lot of layoffs, there's a lot of stuff going on back in America as well. But I just don't understand why people are diminishing this effort when it's just fitting of his era. Like, he couldn't have put out this album unless he was going through what he's going through. And for the people that kind of can't relate, this is a persona that can be taken on, and it's a real feeling that he's feeling. It's like, he's still that dude in his eyes, and he is. Like, his numbers, I'm pretty sure the album's gonna win, all this other stuff, and I don't think it's a bad album. I like the I mean, it may be kind of monotone, but I think it fits the theme that he's trying to deliver. And yeah, a lot of the feedback that I'm seeing, it doesn't really, it's kind of like clickbaity, and it's kind of just people going with the crowd think, and having an expectation but not fitting it into the context of the situation that he's in. So I know it may be a contrarian view and maybe not expected because I'm PG Lang, I'm Kendrick all day. You know, I rock with that whole movement as well, and I think um, I'm anticipating just a continuous feedback of them two going forward, and I want all the good music. Like I don't want to have to X out one side of the table because somebody else is elevating. Like I want them to both deliver the great product that we can all enjoy. So yeah, I just wanted to give that little bit of a review and also just give more context of what I'll be you know, having more time to talk about in this year. So